Welcome to the show. Hopefully we're live. I hit the button and it was going there. So we've got an unboxing today, and I want to kind of give you my thoughts on which one of these is the best overall. I've kind of hinted around on it. I still have yet to put out a true review video on each one. And then I got to give you the list of the rods. There's more than one rods, but I think when it comes to BFS reels off AliExpress, there can only be one. Am I right? So I'm going to come around here. I don't have a chesty, but I'm going to come around where I can actually see what's going on. And I'm going to move you guys. Whoa, I got you guys on my new phone. We don't want any accidents because I'm going to show you guys something. You see that? That's what happens when you start doing live videos using a phone. That phone got destroyed, and it was junk anyway, trust me. This phone, it was junk. It's trash. May didn't even need to get that to hit the trash can. So anyway, once again, welcome to the show. We have an unboxing. I'm hoping this is my expensive high dollar. I just talked about it in last night's video if you didn't watch it. So I'm very anxious to open this. That's why I just started a live video today. If you guys can tell, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the wind is blowing today. No shootout videos, casting. I might still cast it, but I don't know. I guess if anybody jumps on here, comment if you think I should try to cast this thing no matter what. Anyway, we need a knife. Anybody got a knife? That's a knife. See that? That's a knife. Well, look. It's also a knife with scissors. Look at that. Any of you guys own Swiss Army knife? They're actually pretty cool, but you know what? I don't think we need the scissors for this. I'm trying to be careful. I got my Diet Coke sitting over here. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not like a sellout. I'm not trying to advertise for Diet Coke, but I do drink them. They told me that stuff in there would kill me over 15 years ago, back when I started drinking it. Well, guess who's not dead yet? Technically, I'm in pretty good health, I think. I haven't been to the doctor in like 20 years. But I haven't felt the need to go to the doctor. And don't get me started on the shot. I know what you guys are going to say about that. Don't even comment about that. I shouldn't have said nothing. But anyway, my mom thinks I should. I'm like, if I never get the flu shot, and I never tend to get sick, why do I need a shot of anything? You know what I'm saying? I'm just that person. Like, I don't get sick. Well, I mean, I do. I should not say that. I'll be sick as a dog this week. But typically, I don't. I get like some kind of crazy runny nose for like a week or two at a time. And I don't know how they package this. It's more like, I think that's just an allergy thing, certain time of the year. All right, we gotta move the Diet Coke. This thing has become its whole new monster. This thing is a nightmare. Hold still. Don't move, guys. I don't want to cut you. This thing, it looks like it's been to China and back again. Box is all destroyed. Okay, we're getting some. Oh, this is the one, boys. This is it. I hope I'm not let down. Oh my goodness. It still won't open. It's a Chinese puzzle. I can't figure it out. It's in Chinese. Oh my God. I still haven't got this thing opened all the way yet. It's like rolled up cardboard. You guys see that? It's like they tried to make a tube out of a cardboard box. There we go. All right. Here is the expensive rod. What is all this? Can you guys see this stuff? Hang on. Let me regroup. It is that just to add weight? It's like 50,000 sheets of plastic. I don't know what that is. We'll look at it later. You guys see that? There's just layers and layers of plastic. I don't know what that is. Here's the rod. I hope there's a rod in there. I thought it felt awful heavy. Let me make sure they didn't send me no other presents or gifts. Do you guys see anything in that box? Nope. Nothing else in that box. Typical wrapping. I think that's an actual tube it comes with. Rod tube, I think's what I'm feeling. It's clear. Okay, yeah, so this is the 682 light lure star feeling. They did name the different ratings. The ones that are light is a feeling. There's a medium that is called something else, and so on and so forth. So anyway, let's open this bad boy up. Clear tube. Does not look like, hopefully nothing got damaged with the light tip moving around, because they kind of had it in here. I don't know. So as you can see, it's just a case. I guess let me try to move you guys back here again. Hang on. Hold still. I was moving this stuff like blew my mind. It's still blowing my mind. Look at this. It is. What is that? And why is it? Oh boy, look out. I'm setting that. I'm gonna throw it in the trash. I might pull it out later and actually use it for something. I guess you could wad it up and use it as like filler material when you're shipping something. All right, let's move some of this junk out of the way. Hang on, the rod tube's not junk, but we're gonna set it out of the way for now. It's actually a good little tube for something. We're gonna move that out of the way. We're gonna put my pocket knife up. We don't need it anymore. But if you guys don't have one, you need one. Okay, now on to the show. It's got a zipper here. Tip looks intact. You guys see that? Now this is the one that's supposed to be a very good quality build, and we'll look at it more in depth here in a minute. But if you guys can see, well, you guys can't see, I'm not holding it up there. The tip has a, well, come on. That thing will not focus on that. And it does have like a, almost like an X-wrap. It's trying to focus too much on everything behind me. Let me move that down. It does have like an X-wrap pattern all the way up the tip. Watch me end up snapping it. So anyway, feels pretty good right there. Let's get the rod itself out so you guys can take a look at that, and we'll slap it together. Now I still did not read enough. I couldn't make out enough of what it was telling me. Okay, looks pretty good so far. What do you guys think? Can you make it out? Does not feel heavy. It says it has alkanite ring, at least one. Yeah, it's the Fuji K Guide, tangle free, alkanite. I think that's the high end ones, isn't it? And it does start out with a pretty decent, I mean, not huge one, but I think they kind of have to. And they kind of started, some of them I've noticed that on a few of these rods, they angle them kind of down. Then it jumps right into a lot smaller one. Do you guys see the difference in where it goes from that right to a smaller one? So let me put it together now. This is what I was trying to read up on, why they capped that off with like a piece of metal. There had some stuff in there that was trying to explain it to me, but I don't know what it said. See that? That's a metal. Anyway, goes together. Let me piece it together, make sure everything. I noticed one thing, you've got to, any of these rods, you want to check everything. If you guys can see that, I'll try to show you in the, looks like they're all there, all lined up, if you guys can make it out. And they jump real quick. It goes from, I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know if it'll like my lead or not, but it goes pretty big to a little one and then it jumps right to these little micros. Hopefully this isn't Boyd Duckett style. And I would say it looks like from right here, I'll show you the rest of the, whoa, look out guys. This new phone and me are unlucky. All the way to the end are the same exact size little micro guides. And this rod, I'm gonna cut this thing. Oh, I did need my knife. Don't worry, I got my clippers. This rod, let me get all the stuff here. Feels pretty light. Very light. We need to go weigh it, I guess. You know me, I can't leave nothing. They wrap this thing up to where you have to take the wrapping off in order to fish it, huh? And I have to admit, right off the bat, looking at that, that does not look quite the quality as it did in pictures, but... Oh, wait a minute, that's kind of cool, actually. If it holds up, I think it's just made to look like wood, but it's actually like an EVA that actually feels comfortable. Can't tell. Hang on, give me a second. I'm anxious, I'm excited. I've been waiting 2 months for this friggin' thing. So let's look at it from here. It's got a serial number on it. Got a little sticker there. Lure Star. Now, I was looking at that. That kind of looked a little cheap just glancing at it, but I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I'm almost looking at printed wood, I think. But this, that is actually, it feels hard. It's almost like a satin, like it's just a sanded wood. They haven't actually polished it or nothing. Like down here, this is real smooth, like you would normally treat wood to where it will last. So maybe that is, I can't tell what. It feels good, actually. That feels very good. It's surprising. Looks good. Feels good. Now here, I'm going to show you guys. The intention for this, even though this can throw crazy lightweight stuff, my intention was to get this rod and reel combo and just try it. It's an $80 reel and a $120 rod, which was $140 with shipping. So it's definitely tip heavy because it's a 6'8" rod with a little 4-point whatever ounce reel. I guess I could show you guys what it takes to balance out one this size. I'm gonna peel this sticker out. That sticker just looks funky on there. So there is what I've been waiting for, and we need to get her spooled up and cast it just to see what it does. So I'm gonna jump out here, give me a minute, and I'll try to show you as I check it, the bend. Hopefully I don't break it. This is where I get crazy. Actually, let me, first off, I'm gonna do it like this. Make sure I got the line coming off right. Whoa, this freaking camera. Hang on. I know you guys are going for a ride. That's kind of how it is here at Bass and Bonsai. All right, let me time out. I need to line it up. I need to see if I'm gonna like the knot going through the guides or not. Because I don't like the FG knot. That's the only knot I found that will go through. The micro guide's fairly decent, but I don't have any confidence in that knot holding out. So give me a minute. I need some tweezers to go through these little freaking guides. We're gonna find out just how well it works. I know that the Lure Star, the big trout, or no, that's a lure killer. But I don't know. There's another Lure Star rod that I think I have. The cheap one actually feels pretty good, so I saw this one, figured I'd try it. Okay, I'm still here. Hang on. I'll be right back. You guys sit and look at all this stuff. I gotta go get a bait. Alright, I'm back. Let me get this tied on. I'll try to show you guys what I got here. I'm not going to let these ties. I just want to see what it does coming in and out, these eyes and all that. Just found, I definitely don't want to try. This is a light rod, not an ultralight, and it is a windy day, so the trout magnet is out, and actually that 1.5 gram bait's out. I won't be throwing anything that small with this rod. This rod will actually, if I like it, we'll be throwing the kind of some of my regular size baits, like that you can throw easier, or if you use spinning gear or BFS, but that you would almost use with I almost swallowed that 6-pound test or whatever that is again. So let's just jump up here real quick. Don't move. You guys are moving. I'll try to get you straight. Okay. Yeah, we'll just have to try it through the eyes. So, I'm just going to try to show you guys. All I wanted to do is show them. Okay, hopefully you guys, I think you guys are good. So I'm just going to try to show you. This is definitely more like on the JDM. It's a light, but it's more kind of like the 6.5 Conqueror, not the Teton. So it's a stiffer feel, and then it does get into backbone pretty quick. So I just want to see if it cast. Can you guys see me casting or no? Yeah. I'm not going for distance. I'm just going to cast it a few times to see it feels like. I can cast it this way. Hopefully you guys can see. I don't know if you'll be able to make out the rod loading up or not. Them spool bearings get loud whenever you start casting anything of any weight. A little bitty spool really fires up and you can hear it. Whoa! Did you hear that? I think we just overloaded the bearing. I hope you guys heard that noise. This reel is not really probably going to be good for this. It doesn't, I don't know what that noise was. That's crazy. Wow, did you guys hear that? It kicks into a whole different level of something. I guess that could have been the magnet. That was insane. Oh well. At least we got it live, right? I wonder if that's what I did. I blew the magnets out. Let's look at that. Oh my God. Don't worry. It was only $75. I bet you that's what I did. I'll probably take them out. Yep, I blew the magnets out. They were just in there rolling around. Okay, we don't need those stupid magnets anyway. We'll go up to 5. This reel. Alright, don't just stick the magnets in there when you're casting bombing stuff. Heavy. Not good. Not a good thing. Alright, here, let's try it again. So it should work out fine. Set with that setting just 1 past 4, so 4 away from all the way to match break. not sure exactly even how much this little, I called it a freaking rooster tail at one point when I was fishing with Charles. The Roadrunner weighs, but I mean it's probably 1/8 ounce. I'm guessing with that on it should weigh more than 1/8 ounce, but it's not a 1/4 ounce. But if you remember right, the real test was struggling with his, you know, casting that. So the wind's blowing right at me. I don't know if you guys can make it up. I'm sure the wind's blowing right at me. Spool bearings are making some noise, but cast right out, no backlashing, no issues. This feels good. These, and I don't know if I think I told you guys last night. I put the ones out of the original, the first Black Knight, not this one, but the Black Knight, and the bearings interchanged. So this one has ceramic bearings also, and I'm switching back. I'm actually going to try the micro bearings, but not ceramic, because if you guys hear, they just, I don't know, once you get out and you're on the, just like the Corrado DC, I had one of those, and just that noise, it's kind of cool at first, and then just repeatedly casting and casting, this noise right here, that noise gets very annoying. Just like the regular braid that's just four strand braid can get annoying, and especially just some of it tends to not go through the guides right. But so anyway, this right here, I was worried about the tip, you know, being, you can hear it clicking because those crazy micro guides are very small. But with this rod, now I may not want to get any more, I don't know, but the Ducket I had back in a few years back had guides, I'd swear they're this small, but I had, the Ducket rods were rated to where I was running, I think 14 or 15 pound test, and trying to run like 20 or 30 pound braid with a 15 pound test leader, that knot just would not come through the little micro. So no backlashing, it's casting across the street, which I know that's not an issue of the distance. I was just making sure there was no overruns or backlashing, and it's in the wind. So I just got to get this rod out. Luckily I'm going fishing this weekend. The weather is going to be a little cooler than today. But yeah, that rod should work. We'll just have to check it out. I definitely want to, first of all, I want to look at the ratings. I don't remember what they were. It's been so long ago since I ordered it. All right, let me come back over there. Hang on. We'll look at the ratings together because I don't remember. Wow, that's written small. Okay, let me turn you guys. Maybe it'll focus, maybe it won't. So it's a 2 meter rod, which is 6'8", lure weight 2 to 14 grams, which that's a wide range right there. I don't know if I want to go crazy yet to that. Now see that? I don't know if I agree with that. It's telling me line weight is 3 to 6 pounds, is that right? But it's telling me a 14 gram bait. 14 grams is a pretty big bait to be thrown with 6 pound test. So I think there's something a little off somewhere. But, I mean, I'll get it out and check it out. It's kind of weird how it does this. You guys can't feel it because it says feeling. You have to take my word for it. But they got this. This is smooth. It's got the like cross pattern weave, but it's like it's got a coating here, and then the coating, I guess, yeah, that's what it is. The coating stops right here. But then it still has a cross pattern. It almost looks like it's got a coating. It's shiny, but then you can feel all of that patterning, which looks just like that. Hello, you want to say hi?
And we're live, and we're live from Coney Island. Boom, bow! What do you want to tell Joe Byron? Sup,
Get out of here.
baby?
Was that on, where were you watching that?
Sorry,
on TikTok? Yeah, you guys ever heard of Joe Byron? That's the stupidest video I've ever seen.
He said,
Joe Byron.
He said, sup, baby? Take me out to dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, are we getting Chipotle?
Yes, we are.
Are we driving?
It's Chipotle night.
Chipotle night! Woo!
I don't know. Yeah, we're going to get it. I know one thing. If you guys do not order Chipotle from an Uber type deal, it sucks.
I don't want to drive, so.
Okay, so we found out so far, thumbs up on the rod. I still have no clue if that's real wood or not. I actually like that. It's almost a satiny feel. It palms with this rod. Let me get you guys down here. Palm's very good, but I just got to get out on the water. Overall feel when I was pulling that Roadrunner through the grass, I mean, I think it's going to be plenty sensitive enough as long as you're using braid. I mean, technically for a $120 rod, I know coming from China is expensive, but actually a $120 rod is not that expensive. For, you know, today's what a lot of that stuff, the Dobins is $179. This actually feels good. I like it. I'll talk more about it in other videos. I just opened her up today, as you saw. But what I will get through real quick, in case I don't get to it, as I try to go cast a little more or something. So what that means, I'll fish it this weekend. I'm sure I'll like it. I'm going to have to kind of see if I need any more, because they make the whole lineup of these. And I'm not sure what the actual name is. Did you guys see a name anywhere other than Lure Stars? Who makes it? I don't know what it's called, other than when you but this, it says different things on the different action ones. They make this this is the littlest, smallest, and they're all 6'8" except for their they make a 7'3" medium heavy, but the 6'8" 2 comes in this L, an M, and an ML, and then the 7'3" comes in a medium heavy, and they all look like this. I think they do this, the handle on the split grip does get longer on the, maybe all of them, but I know for sure the 7'3" they lengthen that out. But, and I think it may change a little bit for these. They kind of do their thing to balance them or whatever. And we saw in the thing, well, it says right on it, designed by Lure Star. But hopefully you can kind of make out that the purple wraps match real well with the purple on the Black Knight 2. I mean, it's definitely a good looking combo. Now, it may be overkill. My plan was, that's why I bought the one Black Knight from Jay, but then Noah wanted it, so I may get a, you know, if this one, I'm not going to buy any more right now. I'm going to just fish this one. I may have to wait till even next spring and actually put this one through the paces. I don't want to do another mistake like I had on the, well, I don't even have one out here now, but the Kind Conquerors. I bought the full lineup, 140 or 50 a piece. 5 of them, 2 of them broke. I still have 3, but I don't want to go through that. If I break this going too crazy would be one thing, but if this thing just breaks in under what I would consider normal fishing conditions, I will not buy any more of them. But if it doesn't, I'll probably get the whole lineup. And I'll probably put a Black Knight on the bigger 7'3". And I'm not sure about, because this is kind of at its limits on a light. Once you get into a medium and a medium light, I don't know if that little spool wants to deal with any more of that. So as of right now though, as long as I like this rod, I definitely like this rod, so I'll need another Black Knight 2 for sure. But then the Black Knights don't really go with too many other rods unless they've got purple. None that I own. But then, let me move you down a little bit further where you can see it all. This is a little rod that I just have to recommend. I recommend everybody buys one because of just how, it's just a fun little lightweight rod. Oh, let's do that. Hang on one second. Hang on. This is going to be a rough deal, but hang on one second. I forgot to include these too. This is a rod I recommend, and there's the original Black Knight. So I could probably slap it on this one and get a feel for what it's going to feel like on that, you know, reel seat, because it'll be the same reel seat and all that. Definitely a bigger reel, but these always did. They palm. They're kind of like the Zephyr. They just palm pretty good. They set up a little high, but they're not horrible. For today's standards, they're kind of a big reel, but they actually were pretty small back when they came out last year, just over. But that feels good on that. I recommend that rod. That's the first rod that came in, and actually I fished it. This thing just feels good casting everything. So anyway, I recommend that rod. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it. You guys watch. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Let's just move some rods around. So actually I want to test this rod too. So hang on. Oh boy, this is how stuff gets broken. This is how stuff gets broken. You got line going through the rod and you're doing stuff with it. So just so we'll know, I'm gonna let the line go, let this come down. All right, I'm gonna try to turn you guys where you can make this out. So can you guys see that? Okay. Now this isn't 100% for sure, but I'm just gonna get a weight on each of these in grams. I need to turn this, oh boy, look out. Let's zero it out. Oh, I shut it off. Turn it back on. There we go. Can you guys make it out? Hang on. All right, hold it right there. Now I'm just kind of trying to, I'm not putting any pressure on it, but you see roughly how much that is, like 100, whoa, it's jumping. I think it's the wind out here. But it's kind of, some, you know, you would call it heavy for BFS, but for like power BFS, no, that's perfect. Like 100 and, I think, I'm gonna guess at 105 or 6. So that's that one. And that's pretty light, but I'm just gonna give you a little thought on these as I'm recommending them to get them just what they weigh. Because some of them have the weights, but some of, you know, how accurate can that be on a lot of that stuff. So 86.5 maybe. So we'll just call it like 86 for the Volan. Fairly lightweight. Let's just weigh this one while we're weighing rods that do go good with the Black Knight too. 96, so 10 grams heavier. And that's because of I think the way the tips are, and it's a little longer rod. The Volan's 6 foot or 5'6", 6 foot, and the other one's 6'8". So they're actually lightweight rods for as long as they are. Then we're going to the Conqueror. This is the 6'5". This is the one that I think that we'll call it the feeling is closest to an action, and it only weighs 95. It's 6'5". But the Cayenne Conquerors were definitely awesome rods. This is still an awesome rod, but they're fragile, or can be, or you know, possibilities. So I'm scared of them. Now this is going to be a heavy one. I've already weighted it. That's the Delicacy. 5'6" tank. Yeah, 121. I'll call it 121, but it's like perfectly, with the reel on it, perfectly balanced already because I put that handle on it. Finally, we get to this rod. This rod should be lightweight. I know it's balanced. Balance is fairly decent because the rod material itself is lightweight. And so let's see what it goes. Yeah, see that? 83, 80, well, I'm going to call it 83 or 4. Very lightweight rod. And I recommend it. Did I even go through all these? Oh, if they're out here, I guess I should have said that. Hang on. If they're out here, I recommend them. Now, you take your chances if you can find this. I don't even think they make this. It's a one piece. The Cayenne Conquerors is wishy-washy, but until they snapped on me, the 2 that snapped were good. The 3 I've had, I haven't really totally abused. I've tried to baby them a little bit, but let's face it, I don't baby fishing rods. I just don't do it. But so I definitely recommend the Volin, this rod. If you got any questions about it, it's somewhere else in the video, but they're all from AliExpress. This is the one I probably recommend out of all of them for the price, because it's just an awesome little crank rod is what it. The tip is kind of funky, I ain't gonna lie. You get past that, don't look at the tip, or just throw white and orange crankbaits and it matches. But it just feels good, and it was cheap. I want to say it was $20 or $24 also. You know, some of you, it looks, I'm trying to find these looking through the camera, but you know, you could say it looks more classy than that rod, and it definitely has a lighter, and it's a softer throughout the whole rod feel, so it's more of a crankbait rod. It's the softest rod that I've bought. It's not as, this last go around, it's not as soft as the 522 here. This is the softest and lightest one. Let's just jump to it right here. Oh boy, who shut my scale off? But so I highly recommend that rod for no more money, and as good as it looks and as cool as it works, a fun little rod to use in the creeks and streams. 75, 70, whoa, that thing is light. We're gonna call it 73.5. That, you don't get any lighter than that. You put the Aldebaran BFS on that, you're talking crazy, insane, lightweight creek and stream. And so the John Koo, and after I get done, now I got this balanced. I'm gonna pull this off just so you guys will know what it will weigh. And then I'm actually gonna stick that weight on this other rod that I just got. So I've got two 1/2 ounce. They were just like egg sinkers, and I just smashed them with my weights. I could take it, I don't know if I took my 10 or 20 pound weight. You could use a hammer if you own a hammer. I couldn't find a hammer, so I used my weights. Smash them down, put them on the end of your rod to balance your rod. It's pretty cool. And I just shared the link. Somebody asked in the last video I put out last night, they couldn't find these, and I shared the link with them where they are. They're like $1.12 and then $2 to ship. But I think if you order like 4 or 5 would be the way to go, but they're just well worth that. They don't make a big gaudy thing like I've noticed today. I was watching the Edwin Evers fishing video, and I've seen Roland Martin and a lot of the older guys. Like, I'm getting old enough I could use one. They got those big foam ones at Bass Pro, you know, the huge, to actually save your gut, you know, when you're fishing, and those just don't look right to me. That, it's just not too, I guess, obnoxious looking on ones. This one, you'd want a black one. You know, if you got black EVA foam, they say random, but you message them, tell them, hey, I want black, or hey, I want I called that like a rust brown orange ones is ones I wanted. That's what I like on court. So anyway, let's go with the John Koo. This, oh boy, what tip do I even have on it? I don't even remember. This is the light tip, so I think it should be heavier. Who keeps shutting my scale off? What are you guys doing? I guess I talk too much, huh? You guys make it out? 9101. We'll call it 101.5. So that's not bad for a 6'3" with the light tip. None of these feel heavy. Well, actually one does. So where are we going? We checked them all. If you guys, somebody wanted to go back. This thing actually is going to feel a little heavy. That's this 5'6" Zephyr. And at one time it would stand up. Yeah, it's 5'6" and it weighs 107. 107.7. That's because this is already balanced. It's got a little short handle and all the weight is right in here, which I like it. You would think like, well, that thing's heavy compared to, you know, this one. This one's way lighter. That feels better out casting. It just does. It just has a better, I don't know, it just feels better. Now this one don't feel bad. It don't feel a lot better, but to me it feels better. Okay, CU double. Let's jump to the CU double. And it has the ultralight tip on it. 105. So it's kind of, but it feels very light. But 105 on a 6 foot almost seems heavy-ish, but I guess not. All right, let's go with this guy. This is the Toma that I like. Let's see what it weighs. 108. It's jumping all over the place. I can't get an accurate reading on it. I'm gonna call it 108. It jumps everywhere. So what did I say this one was? Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I told you guys I'm hard on my rods. I mean, I could look back at the video, but 104. So yeah, it's just a touch, which I thought it would be. It's a touch heavier than the CU double. Now, let me, oh, this one won't be accurate because I weighted this one. This is my 661. I balanced it. It's going to be real heavy. 121 something, but yeah. I added this huge handle and I added weight to the handle to make it balance. But you talk about balance. Oh boy, sweet feeling. Here's another one that's going to be a huge honking monster. I better move that reel before it falls. That ain't the right one. This one's going to weigh a lot too. This is a Tatula, which wasn't light in the first place, and I added weight to this huge handle. 154. 154. Wow, how much was this dude again? Hang on. Let's weigh this one again. 154 to 104. Wow, that's 50 grams heavier. Wow. Wow. I didn't realize that thing was that heavy. But it feels so good. When it's balanced, it feels fine. But it is way heavier. 104, 154. This, I can tell you right now, is not a light though. This is powered BFS. That Tatula with the solid tip will yank and crank. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to show you guys, I guess, just kind of how I balance one. It's real simple. Take the intended reel, which is over here tangled up in a nightmare. Hang on a second. So get your intended reel. Let me move you guys back up again. Hang on. We're going to get this video wrapped up. You guys are going for a roller coaster ride. I get a lot of people always like, I would have watched the whole video if it wasn't for whatever movement. I'm like, well, you come to the wrong place to get a good, solid, sturdy mount, because I hardly ever mount my GoPros or my phone on anything real solid. They're either on me, my boat, which is moving in the water, or whatever. Okay, so put your reel on. And I'm just going to try it since they're already in there. There's two of these in here, so we're going to pop that on the end and just see if we can get to a close balance. Okay, that's actually perfect. So, let's just see. It's almost overkill. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, that's actually about the weight I would want. That right there went right on and worked. Okay, so we're just gonna leave it on for now. And you can tell this thing's not quite, doesn't match up right. But it would get the job done while you're out fishing. It just depends on kind of what I'm using this for at the time. If I'm sitting there like, you know, doing a shaky head, I want that weight and I can have it teeter-tottering, kind of, you know, it feels way better. But if I'm, you know, just throwing a lot of moving baits or whatever, and I'm just, you know, casting out and then instantly starting to reel again, it really doesn't matter. I don't need to have it, it's not as big a deal if it's balanced. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Trying to get, I got the weight stuck on the end from the, I'm making sure I'm not adding the weight of the bait. Get over here. All right, now we're gonna weigh this. That quick I balanced it. I'm a professional. Was it 104? So what does it weigh now? That should be I think 1 ounce. Yeah, 100. And you have to add some to get a good, like a 6'8" rod balance. 3,940. So yeah, it's 10 grams away from that other one, but it is, you know, like the balance point without anything on it puts it now up in here. And as soon as you put, because that's a lightweight reel. So this thing doesn't even weigh 5 ounces. So basically when you take the ounce and you add it on the back, you're taking, just say this was 5, so then you have 6 ounces worth of, say, reel to balance that rod. Now I don't think you could take and get a good balance with just adding, a lot of times 6 ounces here isn't like 5 here and then an ounce at the back. So let's just stick this on. Now this is what, 5 or 6, so yeah, it definitely needs some weight. Let's try it with just a ½ ounce. So I think this, so yeah, if you have one, whatever, like the lingual weighs, which I think is 5.6 ounces, something like that, then you could get it done. Same thing with this original. That's the original Black Knight. I just wanted to try it on there too. The lingual does not good, doesn't really look good on there. I finally found a reel that, or a rod that the lingual doesn't look as good on. Wow, that thing, is that thing lighter than the lingual? Maybe it is. Feels like it needs more weight. Let me get a feel for it though. Let me move you guys back up. I know I keep moving you guys. My new phone's going to end up looking like that old phone I showed you. Try to get you up where you guys can get a better little look away at it. But that doesn't feel bad. It's a touch on the tall side. I would like to, if they ever come out with these with a little bit, you know, bigger spool or something. I don't know. Now I could always take and get the Spirit Fox that has this color, and or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of options. I don't have to stick with the Black Knights. But I could have swore, and it can't be just the fact this one has line, that one don't. But this thing balanced way better. Yeah, it just has a, like there's how I palm the reel, and as long as my finger's up here, it's like a balancing thing. You could get by with that weight. Now it probably would feel even better, but maybe, you know, just a little bit. And once you smash these, I recommend just starting out with like ½ ounce ones. You can always take pliers or whatever and just break off little chunks until you get like a perfect weight you want, you know, to where you just have that, you know, as balanced as you want it or need it to be. Some people want, you know, almost like a, instead of being tip heavy, they want a butt heavy feel. If you want that, like that's almost what I'd call this now. Like I can completely remove my first finger and it still is aiming down. So the true balance point has moved with that full ounce in there, almost dead under, which I think that's how my, this rod is. I think I've got it to the point where it's, and this would actually feel very good. It does not look good. This doesn't really, you would have to do away with all the gold and then add, I don't know, maybe purple. If you, I guess maybe if you just switch that to a purple drag star, you know, switched out line, you could get by with the lingual on the one of these. Feels good. It's got a good feel. I just like the way the lingual feels good on all of them. It looks good on most of them, not on this one. Where are we at? 49 minutes. I'm gonna get out of here. I just wanted to get a good feel and look. I wanted you guys to witness it. It finally came in. This has been a forever deal. I don't know if you guys can see the line blowing around, how windy it is out here. There's no like true test casting going on. Uh-oh, that freaking line is wrapped all over. Did I do that? I probably did it, didn't I? I was going to try to go just do a little more casting with this baby. Get out there. This braid, I've mentioned it, I don't know how many times. I don't know why I didn't just throw it away, but it was wrapped up in a spool over there, and I was like, oh, give me that. Okay, who wants to see another cast? Anybody? Nobody? Hang on. Somebody does. So let's do it. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna shoot for, you guys can see, I'm gonna shoot for, well, the wind's blowing right at me, so I'm just gonna zing it. I'm gonna shoot to throw all this line off. I can't remember if I ever, I think it's got, I don't know, never mind. I'm not gonna throw all line off because I don't even know what that would tell us, if it's 100 foot or, I'm pretty sure it's at least 100, 120 feet. Spool bearings are definitely noisy. I guess I'm going to put it on the end of this and try to set the drag. So say you guys just watched me hook this up. I'm not even going to set the drag for this bait. I'm just going to set the drag for what I feel where it needs to be on this setup. And I'm trying to remember, I think I switched this to 10-pound test. So it says it's only rated for 6 pound, but it also says it's good for 14. I'm gonna run 10 pound on. I mean, if it's a light, it better be able to take 10-pound test with the right drag. So yeah, let's do that. So you're gonna put it on the end of your boat or something secure. Hopefully you can make that out. This handle wouldn't let me really reel in, but if you're holding on, it's pretty good. Right there. I could probably go a little tighter, but it's only rated technically for 6 pound. That's 10 pound. I mean, you see it slipping, the drag, you like, oh, that drag's slipping, but it's not. That, like right there, it's not even wanting to go yet. So that's pretty close. You get out. This doesn't have a hook keeper, does it? Let's see. But yeah, see even with that bait on there, you know, so I could actually probably take a little less, but it's got a good balance. Where I palm, you just set and will float in your hand. You can sit there, you throw that jig out, give it a good toss, hits the water, you let it set. Then I can just sit here and jiggle it. And it's almost like it's just sitting there teeter-tottering. So the slightest little, like, you know, as long as that line's a little tight, it may have a slight pull towards you. But then the least little anything, usually in my mind, I can detect it just that much quicker. That's why I like fishing for sure with jigs. You know, anything I'm on bottom, working kind of slow. Of course, moving bait, you're going to tell when you get hit on a moving bait. I don't know. I think I'm going to like this setup. I think so. Therefore, now I need at least another Black Knight 2. I need. Well, I guess let me just do that real quick. I know, real quick. We're going to get done within an hour. So for sure, that's what goes good with that. I can't think of any other real ion that I would want to put with that rod. I just can't, you know, other than go bigger. And this would actually work for what you could probably get by with like 2 grams. It's just tougher to throw them. But that's so small and easier to palm. It definitely goes with it. So let's start jumping around. You guys know, of course, this rod, Black Knight 2. Black Knight 2. Actually, any of the Kayings, the Tettons, or the Conquerors, I recommend the the fish bands just go better with them. They just look better, work better. I don't know. That's what I recommend. The clamber or the PW100 goes good with that. Same thing with this clamber or PW100 on the delicacy. This you could go really any which way. I think the clamber, that's not the clamber, the lingle just goes real good with it. But it's technically just black and gold, so you could add, I don't know, we'll call it the lingle. Of course the lingle, that's why as soon as I saw the lingle, I was like, I'm getting that. This, honestly, I think this was also made for the, not this. I don't know, you guys comment what you think. I think this, whatever that color is supposed to be, orange, I don't think it's supposed to be gold, because this gold color yellow, that's more of an orangish gold. That for sure has Cast King Zephyr written all over it. And that's the only reason I'm keeping my, you can see the gold's different on the Zephyr. See, right there is a perfect example on the Zephyr rod. But this does match up good enough, and it looks good. This blacks are pretty much the same. I mean, you put the Zephyr on there, that's what goes with it. This, you've got the Zephyr or, that doesn't really go together, but man, I just like it with the Black Knight 2. Now, I probably won't buy a separate Black Knight 2 for it. I'll just, whenever I'm in the mood, I'll take one of my other Black Knight 2s and fish this rod instead of whatever other rod. More than likely, I may buy another one, I don't know. This CU double, I like the Aldebaran. I don't have it out here. The Aldebaran just goes with this. It's got this classy stuff, and this is, sorry lingo, you're too trashy. But if you have a lingle, the CU double and the lingle do go together. It's just, there's enough, if anything, just with that right there with a little bit of gold and this reel, just that silver and gold kind of goes with any of your regular stuff. See that? It just goes together. It looks good. So that's why I have to recommend get you a lingle and a CU double, and you'll be in business. This rod, clamber. This rod for sure, with all that, with the red there and the red, the Tettons, really, they have clamber written all over them. If you guys want to go that route, a tried and true rod and reel, because that clamber, now the clamber you say is not tried and true yet. It hasn't been trued out, but just in the specs and stuff, it more than likely will be around before, you know, last longer than these when these are gone. But man, this thing just works. Of course, this guy, you guys know which one I like on it. I don't know if any other thing would look good. Let's just try, because it does. If you look, I don't know if I've ever really pointed out, there is purple. You guys see that? I don't know why it's got it there. There's just a few purple rings on the end of the reel seat there. But no, they just don't go together. It would work. It'd get the job done. As you know, of course, a Black Knight 2 on this would work. But the lingle, once I don't know, I just stuck that lingle on, and I'm like, yep, I need another lingle for that rod, because that just goes, just with all the bright, especially with this bright of the goldish colored stuff, it just goes together. It's a good little combo. Very cheap, good little combo. You're talking like 30 bucks, and these, when they're on sale for like 70 something, just over 100 bucks, a very good combo. And we talked about that. So yeah, we're done, right? Anybody else getting, I didn't even look at anybody's on here. Yeah, it does match up nice with the Black Knight 2. This, we'll call it the feeling. And this has an awesome feeling. Looking at all the pics, I took it that it was just either a wood or a wood knockoff. And I honestly thought this was going to be slick. And I thought I wouldn't like this. And, you know, I was like, yeah, at some point I may have to put a cork handle on there. But that, and I don't know how long it'll last, if there's a way to sand it, however they did or whatever. But that has a very, I don't know. It's actually, I just call it like satiny. It's very soft feeling, and it definitely has grip. Like once you grip it, you're not sliding. It's the exact opposite of, the guys remember that baby blue orange or baby blue rod with its wooden handle that is slicker than snot when it's dry. That's what they needed on that one. And that's probably what I could do with that one, just sand down the finish and just give it a light sand. But that is very good, very nice, very balanced right now. And I guess that's not that heavy for a rod that's 6'8". Feels good. Feels as good and lightweight as the Teton, which this Teton, you just have to fill it. I know it weighs a lot in the back, but once you get that, it's one of the lightest filling rod and reel combos you'll get when you put like the PW100 on that or the Aldebaran. It just feels very light. Like my NRX rods, when I balance those, they just almost have a little extra heft to them, just because it takes so much weight. Like one of them takes an ounce and a half, and the other one takes an ounce. But I think they're a touch heavier rods than these in the first place. All right, hopefully it lasts. I like it. All initial thoughts, and we're just over an hour. So anyway, guys, you guys look at all them rods. Now, don't go buy them all. Let's just zoom through them. The one I just got, I can say initial thoughts, yes, I recommend it, but it has no kind of fish testing going on. So I got to test it. I still got to test this one out fishing. The delicacy, well, I've fished Charles enough. Basically, I just need 2 of them. Oh, no, 3, sorry, the John Koo. And, you know, we've got Jay saying that he's fished it and it's a good rod, but I'm just going to double check it, double check this one, and this guy this weekend, and whatever other ones up. Oh, this guy, I don't think I've actually fished this one, right? We fished Charles, but I don't think I've actually had this one out yet either. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to try to catch some bass, but test these rods out. But I still can guarantee you and recommend these rods won't let you down. The bending I've done and yanking on them, I mean, if you break one of these, it's because you, just like me, if I break one of these, it's because I did something wrong. Now, they could also, you know, you never know, some of these are more, I don't really want to say weak, but they're more prone to just the slightest little nick, and they will break. And some of your older graphite rods were like that, and I don't know how these rods are, but so we'll just find out. And I'll be honest, when I come in and I grab like my rod, like I baby my reels. You guys see me put those covers on them. I always try to keep from scratching my reels. But I'll be honest, my rods, I just come up and do this. And I'll grab every freaking rod I own, move them around. When I'm carrying my rods with, you know, reels on them, I'll usually do this kind of number. Now, not that many at a time. But I am not easy on fishing rods. I'm not. It's just one of those things. I've never really been easy on the rods. I will baby the reels because I know how easily they can get scratched. Like if you just toss one down in a boat, you're toasting it. Even with carpet, if you just flop it upside down and leave it for the day riding around in a boat, road rash they call it, or carpet rash, like it just is not good. So I try to keep them propped up or wrapped up in a sock to keep any other than just normal wear. You know, if I catch a huge monster and I drop something in the process, like some of mine's got some scratches here and there. And the Aldebaran, the MGL 30, I dropped it right out here, what we're doing right now. I had it, it fell. I actually had the line coming out of it, and when I walked by, I caught the line and it jerked it off the table and put scratches on it. Not this one. This one luckily has no scratches yet. But guess what? Almost any of these, when I do drop one, it still fishes just fine. All right, last thing. I forgot one thing, and then we're definitely out of here. This video has been way too long. I'm still leaning towards, and maybe I mentioned it a little bit ago, there can only be one. There can be a bunch of rods, but as far as the best, there can't really be a best rod because almost all your rods have different functions. But these were meant to throw lightweight baits, and like one specification overall distance, and the smallest baits it'll throw I have is just a set it and forget it kind of mentality going. And I kind of have to put this reel ahead now. So far, you've seen the issues with both of them actually. But this still has the gap issue, which isn't going to affect me. It has a magnet issue, which is bothering some people. It isn't going to affect me. But this one still, I think, when you get out there, it's just, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards calling this the best one to recommend from AliExpress. It was a PW100, and it is not no more. These two I will recommend over the PW100, and I recommend them over the Clamber just because of the price. And just I like these better. Even if these were 120 and or the same price as the Clamber, if the Clamber was $80, I would still be recommending these two, just because of how little and how far down this will throw. But then this one, just because how it ends up, I don't know. So far, I'll probably end up destroying the spool. But it's been like it's been a beast. It's been a tank. I've thrown 3/4 ounce rattle traps with it. And whenever I tied, like last night, I came out here through the 1 gram trout magnet. I threw the 3/4 ounce rattle trap. I've never adjusted that because that is horrible. That dial sucks to adjust, but luckily I've never had to, and it just does it. It just is that set it and forget it type reel that just works. I have not had any issues other than the spool is 0.5 grams heavier than it's supposed to be, and it came with no oil in it, and I put oil in it. Or oil, not oil, grease. The gears were not greased properly. I don't even know if they tried to attempt to put any grease on them. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here. And the last thing, as I do get out of here, I did switch these bearings, remember? And you hear a lot of people talking about this, and I'm just going to try to clarify what my thoughts are on it. You buy a brand new reel, and you look at that, and you're like, oh, they've oiled the bearings too much. They greased the bearings. I don't think anybody's trying to grease the bearing. Here's my thoughts. If you look inside there, that's your gear right there. That's the bottom of your main drive gear, right? Worm gear, or I think they call that the drive, pinion gear. Anyway, I think they grease in the process of adding grease to that, and when they, it just ends up with the glob of grease. So then when you take this and they put them together at the factory, is I think where all your grease comes from. Because any one I've ever had, this one can have grease on it like a nightmare. This one never does. This one's always fine. So technically it's not hurting anything other than grease smashed in along those lines. It probably won't get in unless it sets long enough, but it will hinder. It'll get in between that little race and will slow this bearing down. So yeah, it's a good idea to try to clean it, but I don't think anybody's packing any grease in these bearings. I think it's an accidental thing that's going on. I don't know how you would get a hold of it, report it to the Better Business Bureau or whatever, but I think that's what's going on with all our reels. So anyway, as I have the lingle torn apart, you can tell I put the bearings out of that's out of this reel, the original Black Knight. I swapped them. They're going to go back. I do not like those loud bearings. Hopefully Noah will like them. But it may actually have helped me on the trout magnet. We'll find out. I got the other bearings coming. They should be here in another week or two. I don't think they're ceramic. These are ceramic, but not micro. And I've got micro bearings, I believe is what I ordered. They're either the purple or the red ones. And then I got the purple or the red ones coming for the Clamber and the PW100. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Anybody? Hang on. Greetings from Poland. You got something for BFS, but over 2 millimeter length, 2 meters. Yeah, they make several rods that, you're talking about 6'8". They make several 7-foot ones. I mean, Dolbin's makes one, Shimano. If you want to find one on AliExpress, pretty sure you can still get on there and look up a Dragon. I think they make the Dragon in a 7-foot, but it's what I call more of a crankbait rod. Yeah, why so short? Because I guess I'll explain that real quick while he asked the question. First off, a long rod don't help you with anything other than maybe a little bit in overall distance. It doesn't help you with leverage. It doesn't help you with power fighting a fish. That's People have, that's an illusion. The minute you're adding leverage, extending out past where you're holding, the longer it goes, you're giving the fish leverage. Do the science. So yes, distance. If you're wanting to cast and get a good cast in and you're in big bodies of water. But typically BFS, unless you're on the ocean, we're on smaller bodies of water. But I really go shorter rods for a few reasons. It's easier to balance the rod and reel combo. They fit inside my 8-foot boat because it's 8-foot boat, but it actually, where the little hole where you can set your rods down go, anything over, I think 7 foot will stick out or stick up. And I broke, back when I was fishing with all the different size rods, I was breaking rods in my little boat. So I've just always, I'm really 6 foot to 6'9". I love that size. These 5.6s aren't too bad. Some of these little, like when you really go to the little creeks and streams, I'm finding out I like the short rods, even the little 5.22, even a 5 foot, I'd probably like a 4'8". You get some of these little tight spots and you want to flick something in and out of spaces. The short rods are awesome. These 6 foot rods, no issues. For years I've been using 6'7" medium heavies for my chatterbait rods. That's what I love. I use, you hear a lot of people talking about 6'10" for the jerkbait rods. Well, they're in bigger, taller bass boats that set 5 foot out of the water. For me, the shorter rods on my regular gear, I like for like even jerkbaits, when I'm putting that rod tip down, I like a shorter rod. But probably like a 6'3" to 6", somewhere in that area. It's just it's just the way of the world nowadays. Everybody thinks they have to have a 7'2" to 7'8" in order to be functional or cool. But I don't know, when I started fishing, all my family were using 5'6" pistol grip rod and reels, and they were smashing fish right and left. So I think it's just a matter of personal preference, but I know for sure as far as balance and just getting a good balanced one, you're going to be able to deal with a lighter rod overall, less stress on the day. I'm pushing 50 years old here in another month or so, so I can go out and take some balanced rods that are, say, 6'8" or shorter, the majority of my rods, and fishing. Now I still have some. I have one in there that's almost 7 foot, and like I said, if I like these rods, I'll have the 7'3" for, like a pitching, flipping, or my bigger swim baits. I don't use huge monster swim baits either. I don't hardly ever use swim baits, but when I do, I don't plan on having a dedicated swim bait rod. So anyway, that's why. Mainly overall fishing. I don't know. Anytime the longer rod I use, I feel like the fish fight harder. I'll go catching fish, and no big deal. Then like on that last video I put out on the lingle, if you watched it, you saw me. I'm using that little short rod, and I caught a bass. And then the first time I put it on this Tatula, which is one of the longest rods I own, 6'10", I hooked into a fish. I thought I had a giant. And why I thought I had a giant is because that 6'10", that fish is so far out there, pulling so hard with that extra leverage I give him because I'm using a long rod. I thought he felt bigger. Now, yeah, if you're using a 7'3" rod and a big fish and he bends it all the way in half, you instantly give yourself more. But I guess to prove a point to my argument, when you get stuck out on something and you're like stuck, you're pulling and nothing, what do you do to get leverage? You aim that rod tip right at it and you pull right back at you. The most leverage you can get on a fish, you take the rod completely out of it. The minute you start raising a rod, you're giving, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. The most pull you have, the most power you have is the reel, the line coming out of the reel, aiming directly at the fish. That's the most power and you pulling that you have. The minute you start doing this, you're technically giving the fish power. Now, why you do that is because then the rod is involved in it and it's bending, and you've got that bow and the pressure holding that hooking in on, you know, in the fish, the hook inside. So when people start, I don't know, I hear people talking about, oh man, you see this 7'6" got a lot of, you know, it's the power. Like, well, yeah, because it's a, you know, it's this big around, but the length of a rod doesn't give it its power. And I think that's kind of a misconception that just people, they get it wrong. And you're probably thinking, well, why does everybody use huge rods for swim baits? Because you have to in order to cast those huge honking things. And to honestly, they'll fight a big fish. If you ever watch anybody, like watch the ocean videos where they got the guys out there on the boats catching, I mean, the monster big fish, they got like a 6-foot rod. That's where your power's at. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Gotta go. Might try to lift weights. Yeah, mostly, no, I actually do everything around here. But yeah, pond hopping, back when I was doing my pond hopping, I don't know, usually the pond was small enough that I could, you know, it may take me a little while, but I could work my way all the way around the pond. I started really liking shorter rods for pond hopping because there's always overhanging tree, or just the accuracy with the little short rod is way better than and able to get yourself distance. Same thing with fly rods. I guess I'm kind of weird like that. I did fly rods. Standard spinning rod is about 9 foot. Jeez. Yeah, you know, 9-foot fly rods, I've never liked those. I got into fly fishing, went to small little creeks and stuff, and just anywhere I was. I go on the side of a bank, and there's always 20 foot back, there's a tree or wherever, so I started fishing with 7-foot fly rods, and they just were way better. They were just way easier to angle, do sidearm cat. It just was a easier thing for me to deal with the shorter rod. Jay, you just missed out. I'm out of here. It's already over an hour. Also, I'll let you guys know real quick, and I won't probably be mentioning it. I'm going to try to start, because these live videos are crazy long. I'm going to try to put together, anytime I do a live video, I'm going to be talking about a certain subject, and then talk about it, and then end that video. Now, I may jump right back on with another video, but like down the line, more people may want to watch these if they're 5, 10, 15-minute videos, not hour and 15. All right, well, I'll see you later, Jay. Well, watch the video. You see what I'm talking about. Oh my God, how'd you get hooked on there? My rod finally made it in, the Lure Star. Unbox the beast. If you guys want one of these, I could share the link. They're $120 or $125 with $20 or $24 shipping, I think. Took forever. I went through Lure Star, that said they're like official store. I won't do that again. If I like these, was another place that had them listed. I would probably go through them. But I think to find this rod, I just punched in, I think it was just bass fishing casting rod, and then went to the highest dollar one, and then scrolled down, and then, because there's a lot of high dollar bass fishing rods in AliExpress, and then I came across these colors. Yeah, as I get out of here, I don't know, I guess I'm more of a casting, tighter spots. That's also, I'll comment one more thing, then I'm gone. Since I've started recording videos, I used to like just the fight of a fish, so I like to have an extra long cast and hook a fish and have the fight last longer, I guess. But like when you're recording, and especially with topwater, I want the action like to all take place within range of that camera and be closer, if that makes sense. But like the whopper plopper, that huge whopper plopper that's monstrous, I feel that the further I cast that thing, the more likely I am to get a hit, but it's so far out of camera range that you can't even hardly tell that the fish hit it. Now, I've had 1 or 2 blow-ups right at the boat, but I think sometimes we'll cast. Here's my last thought on the whole long rod or making long cast. I'm all with making a long cast, but I feel I've lost the ability to catch more fish several times by I'll get along the bank and I'll make a long cast down the bank. And then I catch a fish right off the bat. Well, then I'm reeling that fish in across all this other area that maybe say was, because some of those big baits you can cast, not really BFS gear, but I'm talking like the Whopper Plopper, a half-ounce chatterbait. I mean, you can zing those out there with this. I was using, 6'7", but at one time I did fish with like 7'2" rods. You zing it so far out there, and then you hook that fish, and then you're fighting or whatever, and I think it just shuts other fish off. You may have been able to pick off another 1, 2, or 3, if you wouldn't have made that long cast. So I try to make, no longer cast than I have to start with. Now, then if the bite gets, like I'm just not catching anything, and I'm on like the hunt, and I just, what I call junk fishing, start doing that, then yeah, I'll start, make that crazy long cast just to cover the whole, big area, chunk of bank, and then move on down and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes I think the longer rods and the casting longer can also cost you some fish. But anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm serious, I'm gone. Get out, go buy you some fishing rods. I gotta go.